Go ahead, start.
Okay. Hello,
Hi.
welcome. You just told me to start the introduction.
Okay, you go ahead.
Do you want to do it? Please. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, welcome to Across the Street to Wooden Park. My name is Veronica.
I'm Tony. Welcome to episode 6. Hi, Mom.
Well, hi, Tony. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. How's the weather in Japan?
A little nippy. A little.
Now ask me, how's it over here in Chicago?
Okay. Thanks for directing this interview today. Hey, Mom. How's the weather in Chicago?
It's freezing. It's so cold here. It's crazy. It's below zero.
Yeah. Well, it's
It's
that time of the year, right?
sure is.
It's very cold outside, so people are dreaming of getting away to warmer climates, right?
Yes, I'm sure they are.
They're
So am
staring at
I.
those brochures of Hawaii and the beaches of Spain, and they're
Mallorca? Is that one of them? One of the
I don't
islands?
know.
Mallorca.
I just said that, but
Oh, okay.
they're very impressive that you know something and shared it with everyone. So people are fantasizing about getting out of the frigid Chicago weather and getting to a warmer climate, maybe taking a few days off. Did you have a lot of chances like that when you were young? Did you go on a lot of vacations and family trips?
Um, I we did take some family trips, but they were to not very warm climate. It was Wisconsin Dells, not Wisconsin Dells, just Wisconsin.
For a day or two, or just a day trip?
They were mainly like weekend trips.
Mm-hmm. For those who don't know, like from Chicago to Wisconsin, Dells area, maybe like 3 hour drive.
3 to 4 hour drive, right?
So I've taken a lot of those trips. They're affordable and easy kind of family excursions up north to, a little more nature-like surroundings, just a different scenery, right?
Basically, that's what it is.
Were you excited to go on those trips?
Of course, it's a big deal. Anytime you get a chance to leave Chicago, go to a different state,
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty cool.
Were you guys traveling in comfort? What was the vehicle at this time?
It was my aunt's pickup truck,
Okay.
so the back was exposed. Or,
Wait a second. Did
well,
you guys sit outside
yeah, we sat outside.
and the bed of the pickup truck
Right.
from Chicago to Wisconsin
Yeah.
on the like
Why is that? Well, I
expressway?
mean, right. I mean, my aunt's husband at the time, he had a pickup truck, and we took 2 trips. I remember in the pickup truck. It was a red pickup truck, and it was open, right? So yeah, an expressway, Tony.
Well, okay, so
I know
this
you're
was the
going on the
70s.
highway. You're going on the highway, but you lay flat,
Oh my gosh.
so
So that if someone on a high bus passes by, it looks like
we're being,
someone is being smuggled across state lines,
I
laying in
guess,
the back
yeah.
of the pickup truck.
Yeah, it was just exciting to know we were going on a trip. We didn't care what we looked like.
So at any point were you afraid of for your safety while traveling this way?
I'm sure we were, but I mean, we didn't do it all the time, so. And then my uncle did change the truck for, I think it was an Astrovan, a white Astrovan. Um, and of course that was closed because it was a van.
So,
So,
it,
so,
okay, this was the 70s, a simpler time.
well, I think that the van, they got it in the 80s. The Astrovan was in the 80s, but the truck was in the 70s.
Nowadays, you cannot drive down the highway with kids sitting in the back of a pickup
I
truck.
don't think, yeah, I don't think you probably couldn't do it here either, but we did it, It's like we also would, how many people would you squeeze into a car sitting not only in the back, but in the front?
Yeah, I have that's bad enough as it is, but just the idea of the expressway I think is
Yeah,
a little more jarring. But you did what you
yeah,
had to
but
do to see the Dells and the duck boat tour and all that stuff, so it was worth it,
right.
right?
Well, of course it was. Yeah, we didn't do the duck tours. Um, what we would do is camp. You know, you rent a space in the campgrounds
Hmm.
and just hang out. You know,
Sleep under the stars.
yeah.
I've never gone camping. How come you've never taken us camping?
Good question. Um, I don't know. I don't have a,
I
I
think
don't have a reason. I don't want to say an excuse, but I don't have a reason why we never, because we took airplane trips, I think.
okay.
We never went camping because, yeah, we took, yeah. I mean, that's how we got around. That's how we were able to take trips,
Hmm.
going camping to Wisconsin.
Did you did you enjoy camping? Was it easy for you? Was it
Um,
inconvenient?
no, it was fun. There I go again with that word fun. I equate so much to my younghood as fun, which is good, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
If that's the word that you're gonna the key word, that's better than other
that's
ones, so you shouldn't
that's
complain.
good. Yeah, it was great. We went camping. We 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 would go on hay rides. I remember we learned how to square dance. Um, it was good times. It was good
Okay.
times.
What about did you do
Well, you
any
know what? It was so weird though. Now that I remember, I was like real paranoid about people watching me change. So I'm sure anybody is,
yeah.
but I was like, I was young at the time, what, 77, 78. So I was like 12, 13, maybe 12. And I remember one time I went in one of our little tents and I zippered all the zippers and I tied everything so that no one could like try and peek under the tent while I was changing. Because it wasn't only us, it was some of my uncle's friends and more people went. There was like 4 or 5 cars that went camping.
Hmm.
And I remember one time I was changing and there was a big spider in there while I was changing.
Uh-oh.
I totally lost it. I went ballistic in there. I was totally freaking out. And it was something like you would see it in a movie where you only see the shadow of the person inside screaming.
Yeah.
And everybody heard me screaming and they tried to go to the tent and open it. But since I had closed it so
You locked
tightly,
yourself in there.
I locked myself in there. And I was screaming and they were trying to lift it and open it. And they finally tore it open. And I remember passing out.
Wow.
And yeah, it was very traumatic. And I think actually that was probably the last time I went camping. Um, because it was such a bad experience. And I'm not sure where the story is going, but
But it was so scary, I bet you jumped back into the pickup truck and said, let's go back home. The safety of the flatbed.
yeah, that was probably safer than the experience of trying to get out of the
So
tent.
maybe this is why you never took us camping from this
No, I don't
experience.
think no, I don't think that was it. I just think I never had the opportunity to take you guys camping or yeah, because I think camping is an opportunity. It's a privilege, it's nice.
Okay, thanks.
Uh,
A nice
I'm sorry.
opportunity and privilege you never afforded us. Okay, well, let's talk about like the bigger family trips, the road trips. This is kind of
The
such an American experience, right? To like load up everybody in a car and drive for a few days to get to your
we
destination.
I always say we, and I mean my older sister and I, Sandra. Unfortunately, we didn't do much with my younger sister, Debbie, because we were like 7, 8 years apart.
Hmm.
So Sandra and I did more stuff with more activities, events
Hmm.
with the rest of the family and friends of the family. And we did take one trip with my grandmother. and Sandra and family friends. It was a 7-day trip. We took a road trip to Guatemala.
Okay,
So
from Chicago to Guatemala, that's clear across the country, and
right
that's through Mexico.
through the entire country of Mexico, through
That
several states.
now, is this because of necessity? I mean, why a road trip? I mean,
It was a necessity. It was my grandmother was gonna go to Guatemala, and my mom asked if Sandra and I could go along with her on this trip. And my grandmother said, of course. And it was a heck of a trip.
was this your first time going back?
This was my first time going back
And how old
because
were you at this point?
well, it was in the summer of 1978, so I was 12.
Okay.
And yeah, Cassandra was 13, I was 12, and we went. It was my best friend's parents and his family. His family was from Texas, and of course, well, it was her stepfather, and it was a big van, and it was about, let's see, the three of us, the four, five of them, so it was about 9 or 10 people in this van,
Okay, wow.
because it was her siblings plus some of his extended family.
So it
That
was your family plus more of your friend's family on this
yes,
long trip together.
yes.
Now, were you excited about this, or did you anticipate it being very difficult? Or
I was very excited. It was very exciting, because this was the first time that I was gonna get to go back to Guatemala.
Mhm.
We've been
Why were you excited about that? I mean, what did you think
well,
of? What was your
well.
image
First
of
of all,
going
I
there at the
was
time?
I was very excited because my mom had told us we were gonna go shopping to get new clothes to go to Guatemala. So I remember we went to Zare, I want to say department store, but it's not a department store. There's like a Target. Is that considered a department store?
So, just a big retail store.
Yeah, big retail. We went to Zare to well, we didn't buy it. We put stuff on layaway.
Oh, nice. So you got to try it on at least.
We got to try it on, but it was exciting because we knew we were going to get close to go to Guatemala. So we put stuff on layaway, but we didn't get it out.
Hmm.
So we didn't get our clothes to take on the trip. Um, so we took our regular stuff, our old stuff.
Hmm.
You know, it was. I mean, we didn't get too hung up on that because we were excited we were going. I mean, we were a little sad that we didn't get to travel with brand new, clothes and shoes and stuff.
So 7 days driving across the country. Do you
Right,
remember? I mean, that's just a lot of cutting through kind of
through the states,
through the countryside, a lot of just
all road.
fields and lands, right? Did you
Right.
stop anywhere interesting? Do you remember any of the
We did.
experiences of going through
We
America?
we did. We did stay at a motel, a small motel in Texas. We had a great time. They had a swimming pool. It was um, it was kind of dingy. but
Really? I thought for sure 4 stars all the way through
but it was fun.
on your caravan
Yeah,
trip.
it was fun. And I remember going into Mexico. We stayed in a state, in Veracruz. We stayed in a small hotel. It was nicer. It was beautiful. Veracruz is a beautiful state. So along the way, I don't remember exactly what states we went through. Maybe if I looked at the map, I would,
Hmm.
I would, you know.
So
But
no particular experiences stand out. This was their first time
um,
like cutting across the country.
Right. We did stop by some ruin. We stopped along at some ruins that we did climb, some Aztec ruins.
Oh, okay.
That I think we still have some pictures. I need to put up some of these pictures. So that was a great experience. But for the most part, the trip itself was just driving through, experiences that you have when you're on a road trip where people will disagree or fight or not get along, or nobody can decide where to go eat, or this is too expensive, or
Right.
let's.
I've done some road trips that I think were 3 days or so, and I just flew 12 hours, and that alone is difficult enough. But 7 days with um, your family and your friend and her family, how do you guys cope? Was it? Do you remember
I kind of
difficulties?
either I forgot most of it or I probably blocked it.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember there was like a lot of disagreements, a lot of arguing, because it's a very long trip
Mm-hmm.
with people that you're not used to seeing on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
You pretty much you would see each other like at events, birthday parties or
Mm-hmm.
christenings or what have you.
Yeah, this wasn't closest family. This was just friends.
Right, right. So I mean, we were pretty close, but not tight, like where we knew each other's habits or.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was a very, very long trip.
What did you do for fun? Did you and Sandra, were you able to keep each other entertained? And your friend too,
I
Lily
don't,
at the
I
time.
don't, I don't, I don't know how we could have had fun because you don't have like Game Boys and um, you don't have those Sudoku games.
Mm-hmm.
What
There you
is it
go.
called?
No, I'm just gonna let that go.
Or search a word or
What
or
about your etch a sketch and your hula hoop?
there was barely room for all of us to be in there. We couldn't carry extra stuff. It was basically your clothes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like a jewel bag.
So, what about? Did you
So
guys get to try a lot of great food going through? Do you remember any of that? Or
um, we yeah. Well, it was your typical Spanish like Mexican restaurant type of food.
mm-hmm.
Like the little taco stands and so forth. We didn't go like to Ponderosa
Mm-hmm.
or
So,
I don't
do you
know.
remember any cutting across Mexico? I would imagine sometimes some of those states it can look a little dicey or a little dark or a little sketchy.
Yeah, because well, like yeah, like on the border of the states and
Mm-hmm.
Mexico, there's a small town Matamoros, um, and that made quite an impact on us
Why?
because it's a very poor state, a country. Well, Mexico is a country, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, just being there, seeing kids without shoes, and obviously not everybody, but um, this is like actual hardship, difficult times.
Mm.
No, I shouldn't say difficult times. It's just
No, it's just
hard,
a.
hard to see,
Mhm.
you know.
Especially coming from Chicago, even though you guys had kind of had, not everything.
But we felt pretty privileged
Yeah, I would
compared to
imagine so.
seeing, yeah, unfortunately, seeing um, kids not having the
Hmm.
kind of things that, quote unquote, we had,
Hmm.
because obviously we were definitely in a better place,
Hmm.
so.
Yeah. So you guys make it through, and you arrive at Guatemala.
Yes,
Did you
and
guys stay there for a while?
we stayed there the whole summer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we stayed there the whole summer. Um, You know what? I don't remember if we drove back with them or if we flew back.
Do you remember, were you happy to be there at the time? Did you enjoy your summer in Guatemala?
Yeah, I did. Even though when I left Guate, I was 5, going back when I was 12. After hearing some of our friends' names, it was nice. It was, we remember Martita.
Martita,
Well,
big fan of the show. Shout out to
well,
Martita.
her name is Marta.
Oh, excuse me,
But
Marta.
we were Marta, but we would call her Martita.
She's gonna complain to us on Twitter if we didn't make that correction.
I've had a few people already who say, well, you know what? How accurate is this? And I said, look, this is my
This is the
recollection
truth
of
as she sees it, guys.
Yeah, so
We're not even completely sure she's Guatemalan to begin with.
Oh, you're funny. Yeah, so we did catch up with some of our friends. They were excited and happy to see us, especially because we were coming from the United States. So,
do you have any sense of when you came home of you sounding or looking or acting different?
no, but I know when we were out there, we were so different. Oh, you mean when we went to Guatemala?
Yeah, when you returned home.
I'm sorry. I guess because I call Chicago my new home. Well, it is my home.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we went to Guatemala, it was nice. We were like, we were like the cool girls,
Yeah,
especially
kind of popular girls from America.
Yeah, during these times, it was when disco was in style. So everybody was listening to the Bee Gees and Ivan Elliman and all this cool disco music, and we knew how to dance it. So it was, I don't think we were introducing it, but we knew what was going on, and we had our, cool moves,
Yeah, of course.
flashlight and brick house and all this music, and it was fun.
Nice. Because I can imagine, I've been away from the States for less than 2 years, but even going home for 1 week, I noticed some changes in my behavior and the way I sound and talk and act. So growing up in America and then coming back, I would imagine.
Well, you came back and you were actually more mellow and more like quiet and just more reserved.
Yeah, Japan will do that to you.
Really?
So you came back from America and now you're moonwalking
Yeah, we're
across
like,
the sandy road.
and we actually did have those earth shoes,
Earth
those like
shoes?
yeah, they were like moonwalkers. They were like 2 inches high, well, if you saw Saturday Night Fever, right? Remember the cool shoes that the guys were wearing and the girls?
Okay.
They were like, yeah, so,
like platforms or something?
Yeah, platforms. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we were wearing when we went out there. And you wore your baggy jeans with a little loop on the side to put your handkerchief,
Okay.
your bandana, and one side, and on the other side you would put your comb. You had a little pocket for your comb. They were like baggy pants. It was really cool. We had very stylish, a little old, but a little stylish clothes,
Yeah, but were kind of like ambassadors of popular Western culture.
Right.
The stuff
I mean, we
people
took
dream
care,
about.
right? We took care of our stuff, So yeah, we dressed well, you know,
I get it.
but
Okay, you're cool.
and we were talking English.
Yeah.
That was the coolest part,
Talking
Sandra and I
English
was,
real
yeah.
good.
Yeah, with this
Or
heavy accent,
speaking
right?
English. Yeah.
Speaking English, yes.
So nice. I spent, how long did I spend? Only like 2 weeks when I was like 14 or 15.
Well, you went twice. You went once when you were 6,
Hmm.
And we were there for 2 weeks, but you went back when you were like 14 or 15, and I think you were there for about a month.
Okay.
Yeah. And how was your experience there?
Um, I enjoyed it. I was with my cousin, so it was, you know, that made it fun. Even the parts that were strange or difficult or silly to us, we could enjoy together and laugh about it. Um, it's an enjoyable place, but it can be difficult when you're used to the comforts of the big developed cities and getting around easier. So it's not the most relaxing place to be at because you're kind of always on guard and trying to get to the next place and take care of stuff and watching things.
Right. And what I'd never experienced here, obviously, going back to Guatemala, going to an outhouse, you know, to this day, I still have family who live in the country and they still have an outhouse. They still cook on that flat iron, like,
Hmm.
what do you call that? A big metal,
Like a
like
big griddle.
stove, like a big griddle, right? This is what they use to cook their food and make
Hmm.
tortillas. Boy, I need to post some of these pictures because I
You know,
took
and,
pictures
and
and
and I'm disappointed if I use a toilet here in Japan that isn't electronically heated.
wow, wow,
So a bit of
yeah.
a departure. Do you have all these photos? Could you?
I do have pictures. I just have to make time to gather them and put up some pictures. And I have pictures of me when I went back like 10 years ago with my aunt, and I'm making tortillas in one of my cousin's house.
Mhm.
Um, it's difficult. It's difficult for me to want to share this because it's their living conditions, and I don't want to exploit it
Hmm.
or just like, look, this is what it was like. But at the same time, it was a privilege to be a part of it and be there.
Well, this is kind of
Does that make any
no, it makes
sense?
sense, but this is a kind of historical document and a look at life at a certain time, so it's not exploitative.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you and Julie went with Joe and me a few years ago, for the first time the four of us went, it was very difficult for you guys. I remember seeing your face, both of you. You looked sad and flushed, and what would be a better choice of word to
No,
explain
I'm
how?
just, I mean, but at that time, that was only 4 years ago.
Was
Something
it
about
like
that.
3 or 4 years? Yeah.
Wasn't it more than that? Um, no, it's just not the comforts of home. So,
Right.
and it's different. It's different. You have a deeper connection. We don't know anyone there, so we don't really aren't as excited to see someone
Right. Well, it
or
was
go
my
there.
uncle's house and my cousins and this is my dad's brother, his only living brother, the youngest one. So yeah, this is pretty much the last connection I actually have left in Guatemala
Hmm.
as family.
Can you spend another 2 months in Guatemala today?
Uh,
Would you like to do that?
I think no, I don't think so. I think I could probably go back for 2 more weeks, but to stay there for long periods of time, no, I don't think so. This is my home now.
Yeah.
My mother came here for a reason,
Yeah, you
so that
should
we could have a better life. So,
you should tell everyone that every time you visit back there. Listen, my mom recognized right away she needed to get out of here. So I'm gonna
well,
visit y'all
no,
for 2 weeks, but then I'm out.
well, it's not like that.
Check out
It's
my
you know,
shoes and my new dance moves.
you know, no, Tony,
I know.
yeah. I mean, and of course, you also saw that we have family who's doing very well as well.
Hmm.
Distant cousins.
Yeah, it's not a
So,
completely desolate place. There's, a lot of people making good lives for themselves.
right. But overall, taking that road trip to Guatemala back in 1978, it was we had no idea what to anticipate. We had no clue how long it was going to take. We know it was 7 days because my grandmother would tell everybody once we got to Guatemala, siete días, 7 days, and that's pretty much, that's something we never forgot because it was a very long road trip, because that's something I don't think we would do now. Even though people here take road trips.
No, if I look at a flight and it says 7 hours, I roll my eyes. So it's such a different.
I went to Hawaii when I was 14. I went to school out there for 6 months. My aunt was stationed. One of my aunts was stationed in the Marines, and I went to live with her. I went to Moanalua High School. I was a freshman, and the extreme 2 years made in my life was amazing, because I went to Guatemala when I was 12, and then 2 years later I went to Hawaii when I was 14. And oh my goodness, it was a trip of a lifetime back then.
That sounds like the subject for next week's episode.
Hawaii.
Across the street to Woodland Park goes Hawaii, just like the Brady Bunch did.
Yeah, but I'd never picked up that little bad luck charm. What was that? That little taboo? Did you ever see that episode where I
I'm just going
think
to let you keep talking.
Peter picked up this little, it was like, oh gosh, it was, what do you call it? Not a little charm. God, no, it's not a little charm. It was a little,
Go on YouTube and watch the episode, and then we'll get back
no,
to this.
no. And then it brought them a lot of bad luck. And the family experienced a lot of weird situations. Oh, not situations, but bad experiences, while Peter still had
Keep going.
the little bad.
Yeah.
Did you ever see
Go ahead.
that episode, Tony?
I don't have to. I live it with you. I'm living it now. I could imagine the whole thing.
Well, you know what? After this, we'll look at that episode of when the family went to Hawaii. And I think they went because Mr. Brady had a contract, and the company offered to fly him and his family to Hawaii.
You remember more about their life and their road trip and their trip than your own. Do you realize that?
Because they had fun. They flew out there. We had a 7-day road trip with all these people. You know how hot it was in the summer, in June, and you're sitting, like, you're sitting in shorts next to other people, and now you're sticky and stinky.
Vinyl seats, maybe.
and it was just a long trip, and yeah, I think this is one of those experiences that you really try to block. It was a good experience to go to Guatemala, but the circumstances of going in a vehicle was something that, I guess I shouldn't complain. People have, they have harder times getting to this country or going to other places, but it's a fog. It's a faint memory now, I guess. I want to make it that.
And out of that fog and faint memory comes another episode of Across the Street to Woodland Park. We want to thank everyone for listening. Tell your friends. Where should they go to find our site, find our show, Mom?
You could give them that information.
Okay, thank you.
Across the street to Woodland Park.
.com
is
the URL. You can find our episodes there. You can subscribe to the show in iTunes. If you have an iPhone or an iPad, Look in the podcast app. It's already on your device. Search Across the Street, search Wooden Park. You'll find us. You hit the subscribe button, and every week you will get the new episode delivered to you automatically so you can enjoy. If you have an Android phone, just go straight to the website. You could hit play on each episode and follow along on these adventures. We promise to try to make them good so you don't block them out like my mom has many of her past memories.
Well, not many, Tony, but you are very fortunate that that you didn't take a trip like this.
I've taken trips like this, and I will talk about them one day.
You've taken trips like this.
We've done Miami in the summer, like 8 people in like some Cadillac or something.
Okay,
no
we went to Miami with Grandma.
Yeah.
Juan, me, Julie, and Cindy.
Yes, Julie was in a car seat at the time, so that's half of the back row.
Right, but that was just what, 2 days? It wasn't 7 days.
It was a long time and it was very hot. I had my own personal struggle. The point of your life is to make my life more comfortable, okay?
And I have.
Thank you.
But overall, didn't you enjoy going to Miami? And I think I have pictures of that.
No, I didn't enjoy going to Miami. What the hell an 8-year-old kid wants to do in Miami?
We went to Little Havana. And
I don't care. I wanted to go to Disney World. Little Havana, nightclubs and cocktails and stuff. What am I going to do?
We met Juan's friends and family.
Yeah.
You know, and Grandma was happy, and that's what mattered, right? Right, Tony? Say yes. Yeah, Grandma was happy.
So, see everyone next week. Thanks for listening. Goodbye, Mom.
Buenas noches.